Second game up of the day, we have Ravens at Bills. Line opened up at 3. Lamar Jackson coming off the first playoff win of his career. Bills edged out a victory against the Colts last week. If you subscribe to this channel, we had Colts plus 6.5. We covered in that one. We took an L in the Ravens game though. I took the Titans, and I'll get into that in a second. Ravens at Bills. Let's make a pick.
The source.
All right, like I said, this line opened up Buffalo -3, and bets came in pretty split down the middle, but there was a bit of sharp money on Baltimore here. It knocked the line down to 2.5 pretty quickly. As we take a look at the rest of the week, the line jumped down to 2, only to move right back to 2.5. Money is slowly creeping back towards the Bills here. And if you look, it's very slowly at first, very subtly, but take a look at the movement from yesterday to today. Today's Friday, so the movement from Thursday to Friday. We got a 9% shift towards Buffalo. And this is the playoffs, this is the divisional round. There's a lot of bets in on these games. So a 9% shift this far into the week, that's a considerable amount of money that got thrown in on the Bills either Thursday night or Friday morning. So now we're almost split right down the middle in bets and money right before game day. Something to keep in mind though, a lot of that Ravens money came in at +3 instead of +2.5. I wouldn't be surprised with this Buffalo money coming back to see this bump back up to 3 soon, or before kickoff at some point. So how do these two teams match up on the field? Well, I knew Baltimore's defense was good, but last week was ridiculous what they did to the Titans. If you subscribe to this channel, you know I had Tennessee +3.5. And if you told me before the game, you're like, hey, the Ravens are gonna score 20 points. Do you want Tennessee +3.5? I would have been like, absolutely. You mean I only need 17 points to cover? Sign me up all day. They only put up 13 points. Lamar Jackson had that crazy touchdown run, but the credit for this win belongs to the defense. Props to the Ravens defense last week. So I guess the question would be, can this defense repeat that performance? Can they do the same thing to Buffalo's offense? And they may hold the Bills offense in check, but they're not gonna hold them to 13 points. The Bills offense does have a tendency to dog walk some teams. If you asked me a week ago, before last weekend's games, if I would take Buffalo at home -2.5 against the Ravens in this one, I would say no question, give me Buffalo, no hesitation. But then last weekend's games happened, and I don't like the way the Bills played the Colts, man. The Colts played them tough. There were some points of the game where Indy looked like the better team. Overall, the Bills were the better team, but there were some points where they didn't look like it. The Colts held the Bills to just 27 points, which doesn't seem like a defensive, outstanding performance, but considering the Bills at the end of the season, the last few games were putting up 40 spots and 50 spots, to hold them to 27, you take that. You definitely take that. So I don't like the way the Bills played the Colts last week. It makes me a little scared to play Buffalo this week. Why? Because the Ravens defense is even better than the Colts is, and they're red hot right now. One thing about the Ravens defense I have to mention, so I went through their schedule, and there was really only one game all year where they played a quarterback that runs the ball efficiently, and that was Cam Newton, and they lost that game. But Cam Newton didn't really beat him on the ground, so I don't know if that's even significant. But the point being, Josh Allen can run the ball, and Baltimore really hasn't had to deal with that all season. Is Josh Allen running the ball going to be a problem for this elite defense and maybe change up their looks a little bit? It's tough to say. As far as the Ravens offense, well, we all know last year was completely dominant, an unstoppable force. This year, it shows signs of that sometimes. Sometimes it looks, again, unstoppable, but there's other times where it looks really stale and played out. It seems like the better defensive coordinators have figured out a way to slow Lamar Jackson down. He's still gonna make an outrageous play or two, but the Ravens offense isn't what it was last year. Real quick before the pick, I've been asked to give totals and prop bets, just like the Packers-Rams video. So real quick, totals, I like over 49.5, definitely in this one. Prop bets, the Bills have given up some big games to tight ends. So I'm going Mark Andrews down the board, over 54.5 yards receiving, and Mark Andrews to score anytime, which is at +200. So what's the pick? I feel like at 2.5, I have to play the Bills here. Both offenses, in my opinion, are gonna be able to score on each other throughout this game. That's why I also like the over. But in that kind of game, after watching the Ravens offense last week against Tennessee's defense, which isn't good, other than that Lamar Jackson touchdown run, the Ravens offense really didn't look that great. So in a game where there's going to be a lot of scoring, or they're going to go back and forth, I trust Buffalo's offense a lot more than Baltimore's. Give me Buffalo -2.5. Let's lock it in. If anything changes with those picks, I will tweet it and put it on my Instagram story. So if you're going to follow me on them, make sure you check those two platforms before you lock it in.